Okay, beautiful people. Here is, before you get started on this video, actually, we created the template for a quotations page with space for 3 quotes. I would go ahead and make sure you have pictures and quotes picked out. I've already loaded some onto my page. So this is Maya Angelou, Bob Dylan, Alice Walker, some of my heroes. And I also, you have the option to do this in here. I have my images saved, but I also created a banner in Photoshop and I saved it as a JPEG. So I'm going to start off by taking out the Jumbotron that I made previously. So instead of a Jumbotron, I'm actually going to make a banner, and instead of header tags, I'm just going to link the banner that I created. And I reload that. Okay, it looks decent. I don't like how everything is kind of pushed. There's no breathing room in between the pictures and the banner. So what I'm going to do is, and I can do this because we linked our style sheet here. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to talk to the banner and I'm going to say, hey yo, I think you want some breathing room of 25 pixels beneath you. And now, to me, that looks a little bit better. Okay, the next thing, and the reason I wanted you to pick out your images is because unless you were a genius and managed to pick images that are exactly the same size, what you're going to end up with is a situation that is like the one we see before us. I have 3 lovely images of these people, but they're not lined up. And so it kind of creates a page that doesn't look great. There's a couple different ways to deal with this. The reason this is happening is because the width to height ratio, which is also known as the aspect ratio of an image, is not uniform across the pictures. So one way to deal with this that I will demonstrate right now is going to be to open the different images in Photoshop. So I'll start with Bob Dylan here. I'm going to open it up. And if I click on the image, select on the crop tool, there's going to be something in the corner here. It might originally be set to unconstrained or original ratio. What I'm going to say is I want you to crop this at a ratio of 4:3. And it's going to give me that ratio. And then if I go to image, crop, there it is cropped the way I want it. And then we're going to save it. Great. And then it's just going to be a matter of doing the same thing. So here is Maya Angelou looking awesomely happy. I've got the 4:3 ratio. It's going to cut it. It's going to automatically show me how to crop the image in that way. I can move this around if I don't like the way they did it, but actually that looks great. Same thing, image crop, file save, sure. And then last but not least for me, Alice Walker. We'll open her up in Photoshop. And this was a longer photo, so there it is. Make sure the 4:3 ratio, image crop, file save, sure, close. Okay, so now we just open those. We crop them to the same ratio. So now if we go back to our page and reload it, as you can see, it's automatically updating them, and they're now beautifully and wonderfully aligned. Fantastic. So, a couple things. I wanted to make my page a little more fun and exciting, so I picked a font I like. I like this Merriweather Sans on the Google Fonts. So I'm going to add it. I'm going to take the link they put here. And that's going to go underneath my title tags. Whoa. So the first link always goes in the head, and the second link goes in the style sheet along with the element that you want to have styled. So for my purposes, I'm going to want both the H3 and the P's to be styled. So we can call it up this way. I can say, hey, make all my paragraphs of text that font family. Let's give it a size of 20 pixels. Actually, let's go with 16. And see what that looks like. And as you can see, the font has changed. Okay, I can already tell you one thing I don't like is that these images don't have space beneath them. So I'm going to go to the image tag and I'm going to say margin. Pixels. Okay, and then actually for the banner, I want the margin at the bottom to be 25 pixels, but I want the margin to the right and left to be auto, so I want to center on the page. So what I'm going to do is leave this 25 pixels here, but add the auto. Still doesn't give me what I want. Okay, I'm going to do that here. I want the width of my banner to be 100%, and I'm just going to do that inline. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's coming together. A couple other things I did want to change. I really like the thumbnail effect that Bootstrap has created for me. The way I use that, I can attach, in addition to image responsive, I just add the class name of image-thumbnail. And what you should be able to see is it creates this kind of little thumbnail sketch around the image, which I really enjoy. So I'm going to add that to my images. And let's see, what else do I want? Then finally, one effect I want to take care of is when I start to stack, when this becomes responsive, when it gets to about here, it looks great, except for that there's no space in between the elements. Which I think kind of makes it confusing to read. So what I'm going to do is create that space. So every single item in here already has a class name of column small 4. So in the CSS, I'm just going to add that dot column small 4, and we'll say margin bottom of 45. And as you can see now, when they stack on top of each other, you get a bit more space there. So I can see clearly this is a quote. This is Bob Dylan's quote. Fantastic. All right, so this is a pretty simple beginning part of a quotations page. I want you to check out the assignment sheet for this page. I think to really flesh this out, really make it cool, maybe add some more quotes, add some coloring, stylize your own font. There's a lot of places you can go with this. Part of the idea is to get you used to using the grid system and playing around with an external style sheet. So I hope you're having fun.